through. So the economy is in this constant motion. It's constantly evolving and often growing. First, there's a final state of rest. There's a state where there is no action no longer necessary. The final state of rest is where all that uneasiness is gone and we're totally happy, totally satisfied, or else because, in the secondary case where going any further, achieving any further removal of that uneasiness, better satisfaction is just out of the question. There's no possible way to move to the next state. So that's that final state of rest where we just can't do any better. And under that, that is a state that we're just kind of aspiring to, working towards, and that's kind of what entrepreneurship drives toward. But deep underneath that, there's this plain state of rest. This is the point of rest where we reach it all the time, over and over again, where supply and demand kind of intersect and we kind of reach a mutual agreement at the current prices, and people make their exchanges. And then once they made their exchanges, everybody's happy and we're at a state of rest again, until something else comes up and we have to make further exchanges to reach a higher state of satisfaction. We reach another state of rest, plain state of rest. So this is the one we reach over and over again. The way economists, neoclassical economists, Chicago School, and even Keynesian economists would understand it is basically the world is in a constant plain state of rest, but they don't really see that there's a tendency of the market towards that final state of rest. And that was Mises' point, which is a great point, very important. And most of the other Austrians have adopted this final state of rest concept that keeps moving. Given the state of knowledge of the current economy, there is a final state of rest where we cannot apply any new knowledge, any new information about the economy that could make ourselves better. We could reach that final state of rest. Every now and then, exogenous shocks come to change up that state of knowledge. A new discovery of a battery technology. What if they came up with a new technology that uses a more abundant supply instead of these rare earths? That made electrical vehicles a whole lot more viable and a lot cheaper. Well, all of a sudden, the markets are thrown into disarray, right? The EV market has to adapt to that. There needs to be all these changes. But ultimately, what it leads to is a higher state of economic value because we've got this new information, this new knowledge. And once it's diffused into the markets, electrical vehicles are cheaper, they run better, they work better, and everybody is, in the end, better off as a result. Now that process, that discovery of the battery technology is outside of the current framework, right? That moves that we've got a current final state of rest given the knowledge that we have. And once somebody invents that new technology, that final state of rest goes up.
Yeah. So as a consumer, I've got this vehicle, this internal combustion vehicle, and it runs fine, and I can get gas, and things are okay. And then electronic vehicles come about, and they're expensive, and the range isn't that good, and there aren't that chargers. So I've got some apprehension about buying one, but I do have some uneasiness about the gas prices maybe going up in my car or the maintenance. And then all of a sudden, there's this strategic inflection point where the EVs come down in price, and they're maybe cheaper than the internal combustion vehicles. And all of a sudden, they've got range that exceeds the internal combustion vehicles. And then, so now there's this disruption in the marketplace. And now all of a sudden, my ICE vehicle that was fine yesterday, now it's no longer as good. I've got uneasiness because there's a better product in the market. So then I go out and I buy the EV, and now it's got all these better features and longer range and cheaper maintenance than the ICE vehicle. And so I've got a better state of rest, right? Like we're pushing the value for the consumer forward. And as we know, the value for the consumer really is removing some uneasiness in their life or in their use of products and services.
Right. And, something that is important to remember is that it's not only about making products better, but making them cheaper is actually also removing your uneasiness in an indirect way, because by making them cheaper, you are left with, the remainder of your capital. You have leftover money that you wouldn't have otherwise had. And with that leftover money, you get to pursue other needs, satisfactions that you couldn't have attained had you had to pay the higher price before. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So you have more access to more resources, and so your overall well-being is going to increase even tangentially because now you can spend those extra dollars on other goods that remove even more uneasiness. There's a compounding nature to technology reducing prices in a price deflationary manner, right?
Right. And so entrepreneurship is the mechanism by which we just keep making our lives better and better. Right. And so that is the ultimate underlying mechanism of all economic growth. And, I talk to my classes about this. What do we mean by economic growth? What is happening when an economy grows? What really matters, what we really mean is our lives keep getting better. That is what we mean by an economy growing, right? The economy is us, and what an economy is how well off we make ourselves given the time and the resources, the scarce resources we have to work with. What is the total welfare state that we can achieve for ourselves with those scarce resources? And an economy grows when we can do more. We can achieve a higher state of value and welfare with those scarce resources. And that's the mechanism of entrepreneurship that keeps finding those new and better ways to achieve value.
Hello, I'm Anthony Coleman. Thank you for watching this clip. If you enjoyed this clip from my show, you can click in the upper right-hand corner to see the full episode, or you can click in the upper left-hand corner to see other clips. Thank you and welcome to the Economic Circus.